The 11th race for the 2018 AARO Pennzoil Truck Series season would be at the Seattle Superspeedplex for the Boeing 125 around a 2.6-mile superspeedway just outside of Seattle, Washington. The AAA pole award goes to Jimmy Barley in car number 24, or truck number 24, I should say, for Sauer Enterprises. Green flag in the air with Vitor Souza to his outside. Starting in third was Roy Etois, who had a rather poor start. That is Michael Craig in the 22 in fourth, and Nick Santiago was in fifth for a little bit, being passed now by Christopher Nielsen in the 37 truck. And a dead heat so far off the line. Jimmy Barley trying to get back into championship form that he showed earlier on in the season. The points leader, Dean Roberts, in this 52 truck had a rather poor qualifying effort and has struggled over the past few weeks. Hasn't quite been on the dominant form that we have seen him in so far. He's been very consistent overall in this 2018 season. Was traded to JN Motorsports from Holiday Incorporated, and it has turned out to be one of the best acquisitions that JN Motorsports has made all season. As Vitor Souza, as we are now on lap number 5, I believe, has led pretty much uncontested so far. And Jimmy Barley in this 24 truck, all over the back bumper, waiting to try and get up there to make a move. Dustin Bowden appears to be bolder than the 24, trying to make a move to the bottom for second. Doesn't exactly pan out. Looking at Greg Vlasic and Martin Jackson right now, they're running 33rd and 34th. So this is the second week in a row that the Holiday Incorporated trucks have had rather poor runs for them. Can't say that Troy Holiday and Ian Bolgholm are watching this race in too high spirits. They do manage to gain a spot here as they go around Darren Reynolds, who checked up in that 48 truck, but not a good weekend overall for that team at all. Greg Vlasic, a new acquisition for that team. As we've got Charles Daughtry up to the back bumper of Case Schuyler here in fourth place. The 60 truck of Daughtry has had some on and off results so far this season, along with pretty much that entire Powell Racing development team. As he makes a move underneath Schuyler, looks like he's trying to make it stick, can't make it work. Klein Austin pushes the 96 through on the outside lane, heading through the dogleg in 1 and 2, I guess you can call it. It's a straight in between two corners. As we've got two trucks who have already lost the main pack of Darrell Lawton and Scott Greer in the 7 and 25 trucks respectively. So these two just having a little battle on their own for the 34th spot. There are only 35 trucks in this race. As fast forwarding a little bit, Tim Hutchinson Jr. in this 50 truck has made his presence known, and he's going to try his best to get up to the front of this field, try and lead some laps. Hutchinson Jr. has been around the series for quite a few years, looking like he's finally due to break through. We've got Charles Daughtry trying to make a move on the outside. Nothing really yet. Vitor Souza has kept this field under a blanket so far, him and Jimmy Barley both. As now we've got Hutchinson Jr. and Daughtry doing battle for the third position with that's Lucas Knight in the 83 and Eduardo Julien in the 35, right behind the both of them. And both lines seem to be rather equal. There have been parts where the inside's checked up and parts where the outside is checked up. So one way or the other, both lines seem to be rather even. Jimmy Barley trying to make a move on Souza right there, unable to pull it off. And Tim Hutchinson Jr. finds an open door, goes to the bottom of the racetrack underneath the 24 Barley. And it looks like he will take over the second spot. Looks like he will be successful in doing so. He gets alongside the 00 of Vitor Souza here. I believe this is lap 20. So we're almost at the halfway mark in this event. And just now we are finding that trucks are just being able now to get through. Christopher Nielsen with an aggressive dive to the bottom of the racetrack, trying to gain some spots. Pokes his nose. Ooh, careful. Almost made some contact with the 96 of Case Schuyler right there. But he manages to force himself through 3 wide. Only problem, though, is that the outside lane has a nice run on corner exit, and Nielsen loses any of the ground that he had gained. The race winner of the first Belle Isle race this year, not exactly accustomed to super speedway racing, but so far not an admirable effort from this 37 team. As here we're on board with Lucas Knight to kind of show you what it's like in the eye of the storm here at the Seattle Superspeedplex. Rather odd name for a track if I say so myself. But Knight kind of stuck working the middle lane here. There's Yoshiko Sakamoto in the 76. There's Cody Renessy in the 13 on both sides of Charles Daughtry right there. So definitely busy up in the front of the field, as we've got Martin Jackson here in the 02 truck, the winner at Pikes Peak. Broke through and got his first win. Obviously doesn't seem to be winning this one unless he gets the help of a caution. So now these three trucks are having a battle for, well, whoever can not be in last, pretty much. And Greg Vlasic in this 9 truck as well, Jackson's teammate. Both of the Holiday Incorporated trucks have lost touch with the main pack, so certainly not encouraging for either of those two drivers. Vlasic was traded a couple races ago to Holiday Incorporated in a deal that also sent Kirill Lyuganov to Renesee Racing in exchange, or Richer Racing now. As we fast forwarded now, this is lap number 25, I believe. Vitor Souza still out in front of this one. Doesn't really seem like anyone's been able to make much of a charge. Arnold Mack made a bit of a dive to the bottom there in this 12 truck. His teammate's the 22. I was about to say that Mack is driving the 22. He's in the 12 truck, this white and blue jet blue Chevrolet for Silver Green Development. And Mack has run, I believe, ran regionals in 2015, 2017. Has been in regionals for a little while and caught the eye of Silver Green Racing. So they said, hey, let's give him a shot in the truck. Let's see how he does. And Mack hasn't really been notable, but hasn't also been that bad. Lap number 26, we've got Arsenio Quiros in the 99 truck, the AT&T Chevy. He's got a problem. He's going to bring the truck into the pits, and unfortunately, he's going to eventually retire due to the problems that he's got, so a tough break for Arsenio Quiros. However, that team is not in despair, as his teammate Vitor Souza has been dominating the race pretty much. We've got Cody Renesee in the 13 truck, who won handily last race in San Diego on a bizarre fuel mileage race. Managed to stretch his fuel insanely long and win out in that one. But once again, Cody Renesee showing that he can hang with the best here in the PTS, the Pennzoil Truck Series. Was just traded to Short Racing Corporation, but he's on loan to Richer Racing to continue driving that 13 truck. Ooh, Christopher Nielsen there in the 37 truck checking up on the inside line. So we've got Vitor Souza and Charles Daughtry running 1-2 right now. Eventually, everyone will have to come in for green flag pit stops, and those began on lap 33. Oh, Tim Hutchinson Jr. awfully close to missing the pit entrance right there. We're going to have to take another look at that one. Everyone else seemed to get on without any issues, but that was a big scare for who was running 4th at the time, Tim Hutchinson Jr. Oh, wicked sideways on the banking right there. Awesome car control displayed by Tim Hutchinson Jr., the veteran of the Pennzoil Truck Series. Obviously showing his expertise right there. Charles Daughtry and company taking fuel only, not willing to lose a whole lot of time due to tires. There's the Holiday Incorporated trucks up ahead. They're still on the lead lap at this moment. Christopher Nielsen, Dustin Bowden, Rachel Gardner, Lucas Knight, among others, stayed out an extra lap. They will come in. There's the 7 and the 25 truck. Don't worry about them. They're off the lead lap. So Nielsen leads the field currently leading the race right now. And he would lead the race once again off pit road. Rachel Gardner, Arnold Mack. That's Jack Jefferson, Dustin Bowden, Kane Abe, Darren Reynolds, Nick Santiago, and Jonathan Stern. That's the order as they came out of the pits. Vitor Souza goes past the number 60 of Charles Daughtry, who eventually would cycle out to the lead after Daniel Voiles in the 81 car is the last truck. 81 truck, rather, is the last truck to go into the pits. And that eventually leads to everything cycling back out. Vitor Souza, currently in the lead, has been negotiating these lap trucks very well. But only problem is that these trucks aren't damaged, so if they're in the draft, they will inevitably stay with the leaders here. And it doesn't look like they'll be willing to back down. They're going to try and stay on the lead lap in case there is a yellow flag that comes out to try and get themselves back in this race. However, Charles Daughtry gets some draft on the outside line, goes around the 00 of Souza, and it looks like Cody Renesee in the 13 truck will follow through as well to second. As there's Eduardo Julian also in the 35 truck for Shotier Motorsports creeping into the picture. Focused on Charles Daughtry now, 12 laps remaining in this race. It looks like he's pulled out. He's got a wide track up ahead of him, and he can really run whatever line he wants, do whatever he has to do to try and fend off a challenge from the rest of the drivers in this field, hungry behind him to take the first spot away. So we're looking at Zachary Fitzwater currently in the 8th spot. Is a long distance back, pretty much from the top 4 to the rest of this field here, as there's Dustin Bowden, Stephen Garrett, Zachary Fitzwater, and Lucas Knight all occupying top 10 positions. Now we've got Souza trying to catch up to the back bumper of the 60 truck, but Cody Renesee makes a move underneath him to take over the second spot, or reclaim the second spot, I should say. So can Cody Renesee get up there and grab his second career Pennzoil Truck Series win? Time will tell, as it looks like the 35 of Eduardo Julian trying to use the lap traffic to his advantage, trying to push Greg Vlasic to the inside of Cody Renesee. Looks like that plan worked, and looks like Daryl Lawton getting in the way of Vitor Souza just a little bit. And Julian in this 35 truck trying everything he can. He's got some help from Dustin Bowden in the 62, the Powell Racing Development Oreo-sponsored Dodge. We've got Dean Roberts back in the 20th spot, all by his lonesome. Nobody in front of him, nobody behind him, at least not for a few seconds. So Dean Roberts, well, he's going to finish the race this time, but he's not really in too great of a position to make much of a gain as he would like. Here's his JN Motorsports teammate, Justin Patterson in the 51 truck, also somewhat into the conversation for the win, as he's getting some draft from Case Schuyler here, just outside of the top 5, knocking on the door here in that 51 truck. So Lucas Knight in this 83 truck, we'll have to see what he can do. He's currently in the 3rd spot. He's going to get passed, however, by Cody Renesee here, and Lucas Knight likely will be retained by this ACS Racing Group, and has made it public that he really enjoys driving for this team, and understandably why, as he's been up front several times. 4 wide right here, and all of those trucks are on the lead lap. So 4 wide action. Cody Renesee wisely backing out of that one, as now we've got in the closing stages of this race, here comes the 50 truck pushing the 62 of Dustin Bowden, the 50 of Tim Hutchinson Jr., trying to break through, trying to get up there, as Scott Greer pushing the 60 truck along. Dustin Bowden finds a nice bit of strength in that 62 truck on the inside. He goes underneath his teammate, as Daughtry and Powell are teammates, or Daughtry and Bowden are teammates at Powell Racing Development. So those two obviously hoping that they can finish 1-2, but it makes sense that they're going to battle each other for the win, as Bowden seemed like he had the clear line, but Daughtry finds some strength on that outside line with some help from Scott Greer in the 25 truck. There's Daryl Lawton in the back, so it seems like the lap traffic really playing a factor in this one. The 60 truck trying to he doesn't block his teammate right there. He knows he's got to run on the outside, so he's going to use that to his advantage this time by. 3 laps to go for Charles Daughtry, as he led that last time by. He's just got to keep hitting his marks, letting that outside lane do the talking. And later on in the lap, coming to 2 laps to go, Roy Etois, actually this is on 2 laps to go, Roy Etois goes a lap down. He's lost the draft, and he lets some of the leaders go through. Dustin Bowden, unfortunately, gets bogged down by the 45 truck, who really doesn't have anywhere to go. The field behind him, the lead lap cars behind him have fanned out so much, he's eventually going to have to block somebody. And Dustin Bowden, unfortunately, looks like he's getting taken out of the equation. Charles Daughtry, all he's got to do is hold off the rest of the field. He's got 1 more lap, 2.6 miles to do it. He's got Scott Greer and Daryl Lawton in between him, as that is the 22 of Michael Craig going a lap down. Looks like he will give him room. There's Klein Austin up ahead. That's really the only hope that the rest of the field has. Daryl Lawton trying to make a move. Doesn't look like he can do it. Austin hangs onto the middle lane. Daughtry goes by on the high side. So Charles Daughtry's got clear track from this point on. And past the pit lane, coming to the front stretch to the checkered flag, Charles Daughtry wins the Boeing 125 here at the Seattle Superspeedplex. And a breakout win, a 1-2 finish for Powell Racing Development. Congratulations to that entire team, and they have done rather well all season. And Daughtry, understandably ecstatic with getting through with his first career win. Full results and points can be found at the AARO forum. Link will be in the description below.